I released a video at the end of January about this Veiko 600mm square from Banggood, and it's now coming on toward the end of May, so I've had 3 or 4 months to work with it and find out what I do and don't like about it. So stick around and I'll tell you what they are and also whether I would buy it again. So my first impressions of the square were really, really good. I'll put a link to that video down in the description so you can have a look. But I was really impressed. The packaging was good. The delivery time was not bad at all, really. I think it was around 2 weeks, I think. The finish on it, really, really good. And most importantly, it was bang on square and still is bang on square. So let's deal first of all with what I don't like about it. The main thing I don't like about the square is the weight. It's seriously heavy. Now that kind of goes in its favor and against it. It goes in its favor because once you put it somewhere, it stays. Once you've got it on your workpiece in exactly the place you want it, it's gonna stay there purely because of its weight, which is 1.8 kilograms. So a seriously heavyweight square, but as I mentioned, I think the weight of that goes in its favor because once you've got it in place, it's less likely to move around with a little knock or a nudge. The downside is that you need to make sure you've got a really good hold of it when you pick it up, or you're going to drop it. And the more often you drop it, the more chance there is of it going out of square or getting damaged on that all-important leading edge. The main issue is if you pick it up at the far end of the heel of the square, then there's an awful lot of tipping weight there. So, as mentioned, make sure you've got a really good hold on it. The other thing that I really don't like about the square, but that also goes in its favour, is the thickness of the aluminium. So as you can see, it's about 8mm thick. But at 8mm thick, if you're leant over your workpiece and you're trying to mark, let's say 455, the chance of getting that right when the inscribed mark is 8mm away from the workpiece is virtually zilch. So I believe that the numerals, the markings on the face of the square are totally useless. But I bought it to use it as a square, not as a tape measure or a rule. So that really doesn't bother me. If I want to mark something that's exactly 455mm from the edge, then I'm going to pick up my chinois pickup rule, or I'm going to use my Hultafers tape measure and mark exactly where I want it, and then square in or do whatever I need to do. I bought the square to use as a square, mainly to be able to mark a long line on a larger workpiece and to be able to set my saw rails up to make a square cut. With lighter squares, you can't do that because the square is too light and the neoprene on the bottom of the rail too grippy. So this works really, really well. So a 600mm square with a reasonably good finish on it, that's heavy enough to hold itself in place, has got markings on it, but as mentioned, I find them totally useless. It's got a really good length heel on it, so there's plenty of registration surface for you to keep it exactly up against your workpiece. That was square out the box and is still square 4 months later and costs something around 80 quid. Would I buy it again? Hell yeah. Time and time again. I'm really pleased with that. So there you have it. The Veiko 600mm square from Banggood. Really good bit of kit, really good price. In fact, that good, I bought the Posilock T-Square in the next vid. Check it out. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ta-ra.